Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Beta Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Sultan Ahmad Shah II alias Tuanku Raja Nurjan Shah almarhum Raja Tuah Shah adalah Raja Kesultanan Melaka Darul Islam.
It's difficult to describe this recent phenomenon that's made its way into Malaysian mainstream media. In fact, I'm not even sure what to call it, but it has an obvious pattern. So far, it always involves a Malay male who introduces himself to the public under a very exaggerated persona. He has a grand title, or he represents a club, a movement, even a kingdom. Then he does something almost incomprehensible. He expresses his agenda through an eccentric gesture. Using his persona as a medium, he breaks the fourth wall by doing something strange, capturing the sort of media attention I can only describe as viral.
Ayah report kucing beranak boleh masuk dalam TV3 kan?
What's interesting here is the persona itself does not have to be believable. Believability is almost irrelevant. Nobody cares about their real names and who they were before they became famous. Nobody believes what they will do will even make an impact. But we notice their gestures. Yes, most of us point and laugh, but we give them a great deal of attention too. We spend a lot of time insulting them on blogs and make memes about them that nevertheless respond to the iconography that they designed. In fact, we participate in the conversation they are making, even if the objective of that conversation is not obvious. What we don't ask is why this trend exists and what it could mean. The simple explanation, of course, is that they are just attention seekers, expressing their anxieties through a celebrity-obsessed economy, and that may be a big part of the truth. But that's not the only way to read this. Every social phenomenon holds a kind of mirror to society. At an intuitive level, these personalities understand the power of the performative as expression, and whether we realize it or not, they have brought the performative into the popular psyche. Their messages carry many layers, and that it can draw and redraw new power lines in politics and in art. Let's first consider how closely this trend parallels performance art. They use their bodies and personas as a medium. They break the fourth wall. They enact their gestures in real time, drawing on the power of the now or the present. In fact, their appearance is typically anchored around a sensational occasion, a missing plane, water shortage, whatever the headlines bring, really. Their gestures also offer some interesting questions. For example, what was the nature of the offense committed by the fake Sultan? After officials accused him of being mad, he was sentenced to prison under the Sedition Act rather than committed to a mental hospital. What did this reflect?
Saya meminta maaf semua agama Islam, seluruh Malaysia, seluruh dunia.
Who were the parties that decided to take action against a shaman? And how did it affect the countless other Malaysians who do believe in bomos and visit bomos regularly? Like a good work of art, they also stir discussion and bring new insights to what's around us. Despite these parallels, there are of course dramatic ways that these actions differ from performance art. For one, the persons involved do not consider themselves artists. And quite importantly, the spirit in which they make their gestures directly oppose how most artists use performance. If one could generalize an ideology of performance art, it would be to challenge that which threatens creativity and freedom. In the West, performance art helped artists break free from the elitism and commodification surrounding object-focused art. In Malaysia, performance enjoyed a flourishing during the Reformasi era. For example, Hishamuddin Rais, inspired by the Italian futurists, initiated experimental theatre that highlighted the injustices of the time. The personalities in question, however, appear to only assert the dominant narrative. There is tribute to royalty, to Malay supremacy, to allegiances for the government. Why do they all sit on this end of the spectrum? In his book, Negara, the great American anthropologist Clifford Geertz proposed the abstract idea of a theatre state. He believed that Bali, along with other Southeast Asian Indic polities that include Malaysia, didn't have the conventional idea of government as a concentrated seat of power that had a contract of services for its people. The idea of the state, in this case, is more subjective, defined by ritual, by the magnitude of pomp. The greater the ritual, the greater did the people imagine and believe in the state. To borrow Geertz's words, the driving aim of higher politics was to construct a state by constructing a king. The more consummate the king, the more exemplary the center. The more exemplary the center, the more actual the realm. It is the performity of the people that gives a state its significance. Could it be that what we are witnessing is a faint echo of the theatre state in practice? That there is a longing for an idealized Malay state? Do their performances help express the restlessness they feel in the face of chaos and uncertainty facing Malay identity today? It's hard not to notice that we are observing middle-aged men at work, men who may have read and experienced Malaysian history differently, who miss the days of unapologetic supremacy before the need for a multicultural narrative, a time when filial piety was not naive, when religious lines were not so clearly drawn. I attempt some answers in my essay, but for now, I hope I've left you with some new questions when we think of art, politics, and gesture.